Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abassi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And I'm really nervous and shaky this morning. And I'll tell you why, because I have to start setting some boundaries. And boundaries are really, really scary for me. So my morning meetings, the first one started out by talking about character defects. And at first I was just like, yeah, 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 yeah. We read from step six, from the 12 and 12, which for those of you who are not in the AA program, that is a book that talks about the steps of the program and then the 12 traditions of the program. So step six was what we were talking about, which is about character defects. And I've been you recall me talking the other day about me running into this older woman um, who needed my assistance to vote. And I told you guys, oh yeah, I'm gonna go over there and knock on the door and walk with her, take her out for walking, because her doctor wants her to walk. And I said, and I remember clearly because I actually listened back to that episode in full. And I said towards the end of the episode, like, why not? I mean, why not? I'm gonna go do this, because it's the opposite of what I would normally do when I was drinking. I would hide. I would avoid anything that is change or different or a little intimidating. So I did. I have seen her both days since the day that I helped her vote. Well, I can tell you why not now. And that is that my boundaries are being crossed. In that she wants my assistance with talking to her insurance companies, talking to her doctors. This is not what I cannot do this. This has crossed my boundary of what is healthy for me. So, just the simple fact that I feel anxiety today because I need to face this and I need to tell her what my boundaries are is beyond my boundaries. I cannot handle stress right now because it exacerbates my symptoms. So I feel very dizzy and my vision is impacted, and it's just simply anxiety that is causing that. I think it's anxiety, but because of anxiety, I behave differently. So my eyes move around more and I am inwardly, I'm like a lot more active. My heart's beating faster. I move a lot more and it's triggering my symptoms. So I wanted to talk today about feeling that I am worthy of setting boundaries for myself because I think that's part of what the problem is that I so in my second meeting, we were able to suggest topics this morning. So I spoke up and I said, I would love it if we could talk about boundaries. And man, it was so helpful to listen to everybody's perspective on boundaries. And I was sharing when I suggested the topic of boundaries how difficult it is for me to set boundaries for myself. To I was thinking, and I heard this over and over, that I'm a people pleaser. Like, I want to do everything I can to help this woman. And that does not seem like it would be a character defect that I would want to help her. I would want to do anything that I can to help her. But yet it is a character defect. For me, it's a character defect for me because and I heard somebody uh kind of draw this visual out for me. It's like, where is the edge of, right? The boundary. Where is the edge of my practice? This program that I practice, where is the edge of it um, compared to where things begin to be what I don't want to do, but I don't turn off my wanter. You understand what I mean? Like, um, that's my boundary. Like, I'm always talking about turning off my wanter and doing the next right thing. Being a yes person instead of a no person, like I was when I was drinking. There's a limit to that. And I don't very often need to be pushed up against that edge because right now I am full time in recovery and I'm focusing on keeping my symptoms as low as I can, not surpassing that five. So you lifetime listeners know I have this scale from 1 to 10 of my symptoms, and I learned from vestibular therapy that I can get to a five, but that's where if my symptoms reach a five in discomfort and pain, I need to stop whatever it is that I'm doing and take care of myself. Um, well, I've been surpassing the five because when I go over there and offer to walk with her, it's never that we just go walk. It's come in, I need help with this, help with that. I have to say, I can't do that. How uncomfortable is that? To say that, especially when I'm communicating with someone whose first language is not English. How do I communicate that I want to help you, but I need to put my own recovery first? Um, so I feel like the part of the problem or part of the challenge for me, it's not a problem, it's a challenge for me, is to understand that I am worthy of drawing boundaries. When I was drinking, remember, I didn't think I deserved to be happy. I didn't just think I deserved to feel good, to the degree that I wouldn't eat because I felt like I I was punishing myself through hunger. And that might sound bizarre to people who have not faced that kind of eating disorder, but that was the degree of my, I guess, self-pity, you know? My character defect, as I saw it in the beginning of sobriety, was that when something is uncomfortable, I avoid it. And I want to stay under the covers or hide in the corner of a dark room so nobody can see me. Um, and through recovery, I've learned that I need to face uncomfortable things. I've talked about how when I'm uncomfortable, I can't fix the issue fast enough because I don't want to feel uncomfortable anymore. And and that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like I've got to draw this boundary immediately. So, so I heard a lot of really helpful things today in my meeting. Um, I heard about how I need to be self-aware. I need to really stay in touch with how I'm feeling because those feelings, that's where emotional sobriety is. And I cannot drink and still be just running rampant and not taking care of myself physically. I cannot drink, but yet that's the only part of me that is sober. You know, I'm dry, not sober. That's what that means. Um, but I need to look at my surroundings and my interaction with people and say, is this good for me or not? Um, and right now, my interactions with this woman wanting me to help her with her recovery is not healthy for me. You all know, I want to help everybody. That's why I do this. I want to help, help, help. Um, but I have a hard enough time dealing with when somebody comes to visit me. It's a lot of energy and training, a lot of my training in vestibular therapy to manage restraining my movement of my eyes in order to not trigger my symptoms past a certain point. I want to be there for everybody. I want to help everybody as much as I can, but I have to know when to put myself first and know when something is not good for me. What I heard this morning several times is that no is a complete sentence. When somebody asks me, can you do this for me? No, I don't owe an explanation. You know, that's what I've heard a lot. Before this morning, I heard I don't owe an explanation to anybody. You know, no is a complete sentence. Well, that's fine. I understand I don't owe anybody an explanation, but for me, I feel rude if I don't explain, you know? Um, but yet I don't have to do that. If push comes to shove, I don't have to do any of this. If this is it's up to me to enforce my own boundaries. And today, I don't want to face a growth experience today. I don't want to have to set boundaries. I just want to stay in my own little world and keep doing what I've been doing. But I don't have the energy to do more for others than what I'm doing for myself, you know? And I need to create limits as to what is unhealthy for me. Um, what I was thinking about this no thing is how when we're younger, somebody mentioned this morning, when we're younger, no is something that is one of the first words we learn how to say no. And yet, doesn't it seem like as we grow up, we unlearn how to say no. We, I think it's because we start to learn empathy. That's what I think. I think that the more I start to understand how no might make somebody feel, the less I say it to people, you know? Um, and so I unlearn how to say no. I unlearn how to, I unlearn how to say no. I don't know how to return back to a place where I limit my empathy. I draw a border around how much empathy I'm going to let myself have. Um, Lots of my episodes over the past year have been about over empathizing with people. And that's what I'm doing with this woman. I'm over empathizing. Um, I think it's important that I look at my relationship with her as a learning experience. I've learned a lot over the past few days about her culture, um, dealing with cancer. Um, but there's a point where I put myself in her shoes and be like, it must feel like the pain. She has a headache every day. I think I mentioned that. I have a headache every day. And I thought, well, that is a coincidence. That's a coincidence, you know? Um, but I'm over empathizing with her dealing with a headache. And I don't need to be doing that. I have my own headache to deal with. I need to recognize the difference between being compassionate and over empathizing. Um, I think that this experience is one that I will gain wisdom from, that wisdom that the Serenity Prayer talks about, uh, the serenity to change things that I, what? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. That's my boundary. I need to have the courage to set my boundary and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm gaining the wisdom in this situation. So I want to look at this as a growth experience, even though I don't want to grow today. You know, I have to put boundaries around what triggers my head. And I woke up this morning, it was the first thing that I thought of. I wake up and I think of her face. I'm not putting myself first, I'm putting her first. I even thought, am I being taken advantage of? I A little bit of me says yes. And and that's just another whole probably path of conversation that I probably don't need to have. But um, I want to wake up and show up for myself today. That's what my recovery is about, is waking up and showing up for myself. And doing today what is going to help me recover. And going out and taking a walk, yes, that is healthy for me. But going and helping somebody else do things on their computer or doing things on her phone, that is not healthy for me. I cannot do that. is it triggers me. I can't do these things in my own recovery. So I certainly can't do them in order to support somebody else's. No, she does not live alone. No, I'm not the only person in her life that can help her with these things. So I am going to need to introduce that boundary today. And I've been very anxious. My hands have been shaking this morning, thinking about having to do this, but that's what I'm going to do. And my solution for the language barrier is our devices are able to translate. So I feel like that's what I'm going to do today um, is use digital devices in order to assist me with drawing boundaries. And it's going to be an experience. And so I'll let you know how it goes. It could be just a big train wreck, or it could be that I show up here tomorrow and I'm laughing at myself and how nervous I was about drawing my boundaries. But I wanted to talk about it because I think boundaries are such an important part of life, not just recovery. We don't have to be have a chronic have chronic pain in order to draw boundaries. We it's always been something that's been challenging for me. Like somebody invites me to something, I don't want to go. And it's not that I don't want to not go because I'm afraid or uh I don't want to go because I don't want to go. There's a difference between turning off your wanter because you're trying to do the next right thing and turning off your wanter and putting yourself in a situation that is not adding value to your life and making you happy. And that's the part that I struggle with is knowing how to say no when no is a complete sentence and it's what is best for me today. So I feel a little selfish talking about it, but that's okay because I just get honest here and I'm just talking about it because I know that I'm not unique and I can't be the only one who feels these things. So that's what I've got for today. I will provide you with an update tomorrow. And I also wanted to mention some of these things that I haven't mentioned. It's November 8th. So um, I wanted to remind you of the November listener challenge this month is harvest your strengths. So each week, you can focus on identifying and cultivating a personal strength. And I think that is what I need to cultivate this week, is the strength of boundaries. I need to build that, exercise it. And then the book for November is Finding Elevation. And this is by author Lisa Thompson, Finding Elevation. So this is about a woman who begins mountain climbing after battling breast cancer. She needed to understand the motivations behind the risks she took while climbing. And so the book is more than a climbing memoir, it's an examination of the human spirit and motivation. So this book was recommended by my dad. So I haven't started it yet. I'm reading another book right now called The Club, and it's a murder mystery. So I will get to our book of the month later this month. So that's what I've got today for you. Thanks for coming. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.